There's something for everyone on the PFC Entertainment Network. On Mondays, it's On That Note with Kristen Watt. The Klaus to the Heart podcast is on Tuesdays. Jason Klaus and Sean Grugel hosts Power Trippin' Through the 80s on Wednesdays and The Hot Tag on Thursdays. The Potato Pals Perspective drops on Fridays. Alternating weekends, you'll hear The Real Podcast with Amy Sheridan, Pro Wrestling Rewind, The Klaus and Q Show, and shh, we don't talk about that. Find all of our great shows wherever you listen to podcasts. Check PFC Network. Net for all the latest info on all things on the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
You're listening to the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network. The views and opinions expressed on this episode are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or philosophies of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible. This show has also been rated M for mature audiences only. This is Creepy Soup on the PFC Entertainment Network. And we welcome you to a very special live event that is happening as part of the PFC Entertainment Network. I'm Jason Klaus. Certainly appreciate you tuning in here this week for this brand new addition to our lineup. Now, my involvement here, this is probably going to be a one and done thing unless something is off the rails, and hopefully that's not the case. So we wanted to take this opportunity right out of the gate here this week to let you guys know, we've been talking about it all week long leading up to this big debut for a very entertaining podcast. And I am so excited to have a part of our lineup, and more importantly, the hosts are now part of the PFC family, and that's what we are here. So I wanted to take this opportunity for those who are tuning in just out of curiosity, because you are a fan of our network and the content that we are putting out here. This is a genre that we haven't even attempted to attack here, but we're going to here and now. So welcome to Creepy Soup here on the PFC Entertainment Network. And along with their debut, and as the stars have aligned, they are celebrating their milestone 100th episode of their show. So they've had 99 episodes to lay the groundwork before coming on and being a part of this network. And I cannot be more excited and thrilled and happy and nervous, and all of the emotions are on full display here. Jill Bain and Jenny Ostrom, welcome to the PFC Network. I am very excited to have you guys here, and I'm excited for what the future holds for your show.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're honored to be here.
So with that, I am going to fade to black, as it were, sit back in the producer seat. I'm going to turn the keys over to these fine ladies and enjoy the show.
Thank you.
All right. So,
welcome.
Jenny and I have been messaging and texting and all this other stuff all week. I'm so excited. Because this is, like I was telling Jason before you were able to get in, this almost feels like the first episode again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and obviously, in a way, it is because we've got like the whole credits in the beginning. We got the new logo, which, by the way, was designed by my, at the time, 10-year-old grandson.
And he did fabulous.
Yes. And we probably would have used it much, much earlier because he initially did it on line paper. And I'm like, dude, you need to do this on online paper and spell creepy right because he spelled that wrong. But you need to redo it. And I finally got him to redo it.
He did great.
We were able to use it. So, Jackson, thank you so much.
We love it, buddy.
And mind you, this is the same kid that drew the eye for this tattoo. So, kid's got some talent.
Yeah, definitely does.
Yeah. So, how are you?
Peachy.
So,
It's been a week for me.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. You finally finished your testing and passed
Thank
everything.
you.
So,
Yes, I'm now a high school graduate officially.
and that's
40 years old.
That
Yep.
doesn't matter. Better late than never, and you did it. That's what matters.
Yep, and I had a nice kick in the pants from the universe this weekend. My computer at work decided to go, and when I log in, I can, but heaven forbid it goes into sleep mode because then I can't get it back. Yeah, they're thinking it's something within the tower, and I have to wait till possibly Tuesday until IT can come and look at it. In the meantime, I am down in the hub of all of the people I tell where to go. It's a lot of people. It's very, very people-y out there. But thankfully, my coworkers are understandable of my situation and how I've essentially been in complete isolation for 4 years. And so it's exceptionally anxiety-ridden for me to do that. And so, yeah, they're working with me. So, but yeah, apparently Universe was like, nope, get the hell out there. Here's the kick in the ass. Go play with people.
Yep. Yeah. Universe is fun. And before we do get any further into our little side of bullshit, I want to thank Jason for all the patience and the effort and everything. But our opening theme is amazing. Don't care what anybody says. That's amazing.
Best ever. Yeah. Nobody's going to top it.
No, ever. So I do want to extend that thanks to Jason for bringing us in and doing all the work that he has done, creating the new page and everything. It's been pretty freaking awesome. And
it has.
I don't remember if I said this in our announcement video, but, and I'm not going to go into like a full long thing, but every time like they say this is a time to manifest, I normally don't. And just prior to all of everything that happened that I did explain that led to it, I did all the manifesting. And you know how they say when you do the manifesting, you say it as it's already happened. So that's what I did. I'm like, this podcast is so big, we can't do it ourselves. And then all the other stuff happened, and Jason's like, hey, come on over. So it worked out so well.
Yep. So the universe is helping us along and kicking us in the ass at the same time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. So on that note, we both have a list this week that we are going to are we gonna do our usual like back and forth kind of
I
thing?
think so. And I think they're very fun lists, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know how many do you have?
Mine is a list of 10, but I get the feeling we're not going to get to all 10, and that's fine.
Okay, I have a list of 10 plus a bonus. That's a doozy.
Ooh, well, I'm jumping in hot straight out the gate.
Okay, you go ahead and start.
Okay, so my list is haunted locations that are probably not actually haunted. And I'm going to tell you an address. Tell me if you know it. 1677 Round Top Road in Harrisville.
Maybe.
I believe it's Indiana. Don't know by the address? How about this? The Conjuring House.
I know it's not. I was very disappointed by that movie. I'm just gonna say it now. Very.
Yep. You have those who are like, yes, 100%. It's haunted. It's gotta be. I've seen the movie. And then you have those that are like, I'm not so sure.
I gotta ask a question. Is Amityville on this list?
It is.
Okay.
But we won't get into it quite yet. So I think the majority of us know the story behind Conjuring House, right? Like we've all seen the movie. However, reality, there was investigations and things like that there. But when you break it down and strip it away to evidence, there really isn't any. It's primarily personal account that ties back to everything. There's no actual evidence that can be what weighed, measured, recorded, you know what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
actually say, yes, this is here.
Okay.
So, and in reality, when we investigate, that's what we're there for. We are there to get that evidence. We are there to
Yes.
get those, scientific recordings. And on this list, these locations are lacking. What's your first location? Or sorry, you don't have a location.
Okay. My list is last meals of death row inmates.
We have
Some
a
of
lot
the
of people on death row on our show.
and my information is coming from medium.com. And number 10 on this list is Victor, and you know what? He's a murderer, so I don't care if I fuck up his last name. Fegwar. He was convicted of murder in federal court for his crimes. His initial appeal was denied. After that, the only one who would be able to help him out would be President John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy thought everything was too brutal, so he denied their request. And between him and the next federal execution, there was 40 years, and of course the next execution was Timothy McVeigh. But okay, where's this damn meal? Okay, I'm not. His meal disappeared from my notes.
Oh no!
um.
Okay, so that's number two that's happened today because
Oh,
right as we were starting, my page disappeared with my list.
yeah.
And I was like, oh no, and now yours disappeared. That's hilarious.
Okay, I just found it. I somehow, when I was typing, it went somewhere else. He requested, and I don't know how I didn't remember this one, a single olive with a pit in it. That's what he requested for his last meal.
kind of want to know. Did he think that the pit was going to grow?
Mm, I have no idea.
Like, that's my first thought. Did he think that he was going to grow something from himself?
That's a good question. I don't know. So what's
That's
your list?
interesting. Okay, well, first off, I forgot to cite my source, and so I'm going to do that now, which my list comes from Listverse. Okay, so the second thing on my list, it's not a specific place, mostly because there are these locations throughout all over the place. I can't just say the United States because they're everywhere.
Hmm.
And it's the haunted Native American burial grounds.
Okay.
And it's kind of more so that it's become a stigma with Native Americans, and they're kind of ticked off about it.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. I mean, I get it. I would be too. And it's primarily coming from, unfortunately, Hollywood, with the whole, oh, it's a haunted burial ground, it caused demons, it caused this, it caused that, and then different locations supposedly on, grounds, and they become haunted or whatever is attacking the people on the land and things like that. Are there potentially burial grounds that are haunted? I would say it's likely. But to say that every Native American burial ground is haunted, definitely not. I mean, it's statistically impossible, let's be honest.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I live in an area where there is a lot of Native Americans. They are very steeped in their traditions. And knowing that, I also know other Native Americans throughout, I can't just say the country because I know a couple in Mexico. So each tribe has their own practices and things like that in relation to burial and the dead and things like that. And so to say, that they're all the same, it's very discriminatory to the different cultures of the tribes.
Yeah.
So, eh, not everything is as it appears in Hollywood.
Yeah, we know that. We've seen some documentaries.
Yeah.
Um, so next on my list is the next one that was federally executed, which was Timothy McVeigh, which he was behind the Oklahoma City bombing, killed 168 people, 680 others were injured. It was the deadliest act of terrorism within the United States prior to 9/11. He was put to death in Indiana by lethal injection at the age of 33, because he was sentenced to death for 168 counts of murder. Now this is one I might be able to get behind.
Oh,
Yeah.
only 168.
For his last meal, he requested 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Fair.
Yeah. Now, there's some people that say it tastes like toothpaste. No, it don't. You're wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. It's okay. But you're wrong.
For me, I would say, I'm sorry your palate is so less refined. To be fair, I know that my palate is not as refined as some people. However, I don't think that mint chocolate chip ice cream tastes like frickin' toothpaste. And if it does taste like toothpaste, what the hell toothpaste are you buying?
Right. Because I
And
want
what
to start
brand of ice
using that.
cream?
Right.
What brand of ice cream? Because, I mean,
Yeah, it could be one or the other. And now me, because I do love my mint chip, but I also like peanut butter. But not like the peanut butter cups. I like the peanut butter swirls in my ice cream. So I'd have a pint of each.
there you go. That's fair.
What's your next location?
this is a location I actually really like. Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
And to me, it is such a freaking enigma. And I'm so curious about it. And I've watched the show. I know the show is not real, but at the same time I'm so damn curious because there is more than one location that has this. Like it's not just this ranch.
Yeah.
It's the ranches around it as well. Which it's not quite the same as like crop circles per se, because like you might have one here, one there, yada yada. With this, it's just kind of this is where it is, this is where it happens, that's it. We don't know of any other, radius like this where it's just kind of insane with stuff. And I love the fact that they brought in people who are actually relevant to the things that they are trying to investigate on a scientific level.
Okay.
It makes my,
See, you
scientific
say
part just
scientific,
tingle.
I go,
Yeah, and I just go, my brain gets all happy with it. I love the fact that they can measure, record, see, track, it's all there. They've got everything, of all this evidence. And yeah, some people are like, it's just bullshit. To me, there is too much money being thrown into this location to figure out what the fuck it is
yeah.
for there not to be something that is causing it.
Yeah.
Do I think it's necessarily haunted? Probably not.
But there's
Is
something
it,
going on.
yeah, is it necessarily alien? I don't know. I mean, I can't say for sure that I've ever met an alien. I can't say I haven't,
Come work with
but
me, you'll see. Jason
apparently
laughs.
last night was clown night at work. And I was like, hey, I'm not on the gaming floor. However, apparently there was some very not so pleasant people on the floor last night. But yeah, it was just very interesting. So I think there is something there. Is it necessarily one or the other? I don't know. Could it maybe even be something more scientific? Maybe it is a science that we haven't figured out yet. Maybe there's something that we just haven't clicked with to put the pieces together to figure it out. But that's one where you believe it or you don't.
Right. Okay. So our next little inmate is Stephen Michael Woods Jr. He was sentenced to death after being convicted of the murders of a young drug dealer and his wife. In 2004, he was fighting for prisoner rights. He took part of a hunger strike to oppose death row inmate treatment. Blah blah blah. So his last meal request. Now we're getting into the more better than an olive and some ice cream. Now we're getting into
I like the
2 pounds.
ice cream one.
Yeah, me too. But look, I like food, obviously, and
Fair.
that's just not going to cut it for me. So his last meal, and I can get behind a lot of this.
Okay.
2 pounds of bacon,
Very specific.
large 4-meat pizza, 4 fried chicken breast, 2 drinks each of Mountain Dew, Pepsi, root beer, and sweet tea, 2 pints of ice cream, 5 chicken fried steaks, 2 hamburgers with bacon,
More bacon, so
fries.
technically more than 2 pounds.
Yep. fries and a dozen garlic breadsticks with marinara sauce on the side.
Gotta have the marinara.
I can take it with or without, but
Gotta have marinara.
I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not opposed. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I love it, but I can eat it without if I have to.
If I
But yeah,
have to.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, if I'm ordering it, give me the marinara.
Yeah. Especially if I'm paying.
Right? But I
So
mean,
yeah,
wow.
his his is definitely more interesting than the first two.
hmm So now I'm curious, did he actually eat it all?
It does not say, but that my last one is fun.
Oh, okay. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, my
Because, I
last one
mean,
is
that's a
fun.
lot.
Just gonna
I
say
mean,
that.
let's think about it. That's 2 packs of bacon. Cook up a whole thing of bacon. You usually get a pile like this, so double that, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And then add 4 chicken breasts on top of that. Like, how does a person have room in themselves for that much food?
I mean, look, who cares if they're miserable? They're not. It's their literal last meal. You know,
But I mean, how
I
can you
would
get it all down?
I would be the asshole that ate something I was allergic to. I would. Haha. But that, I mean,
You,
I'm
you
no.
know, that makes me wonder because the prison system would know you're allergic to said food. You know what I mean? Because they have to keep you alive. Whether you're on death row or not, it is their duty to keep you alive
Yeah,
and
but
moderately healthy.
I would still do it.
So I don't think they would let you.
Honestly, right now, I don't know of any foods I'm allergic to. So,
Same. But I mean, just as, that's interesting though.
yeah.
I might have to make a poll.
All
Pull
right.
some friends.
What's your
We'll
next
say that.
suggestion?
Swamps. So swamps, bogs, marshes, these biomes have often been considered spooky, haunted, nefarious locations. I mean, we have Swamp Thing, for Pete's sake, which, to be fair, he's cool. I don't care what you say. I like Swamp Thing. So yeah, lots of different stories imposing around him. There's UFO tales, things like that, and they go all across the world, which, kind of like the haunted burial grounds. It's been stigmatized by Hollywood, you know, and it all kind of stems from specific European folklore, particularly English accounts, though well known across Europe, albeit with different names, all describing essentially the same thing, like the Will o' the Wisps. And there's often a variety of explanations for them, along with the ghost lights and things like that. It's often swamp gas. Granted, not always. Sometimes that really is just a blanket cover for what's really going on. But,
Jason's a fan of Swamp Thing too.
yes! Awesome. Glad I'm not the only one. So yeah, and not only that, but there are a lot of different organisms and things like that that live within the swamps. And so if you're not accustomed to being in that environment and you come across these things, you're gonna think they're weird, they're creepy, and you're probably gonna scream like a fucking girl. But it's still not necessarily haunted, not necessarily an alien. Use your big brain. Use science.
You know me and science. Telling you, we're not friends. We don't sit at the same table.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, so now we're going back to kind of a boring last meal, and this was
Nah.
for Angel Diaz. He was put to death in Florida by lethal injection. He was 55. He was sentenced to death for murder, kidnapping, armed robbery, although he maintained his innocence until death. Uh-oh.
It's glitching at me.
Lovely. Love glitches. So Diaz declined his last meal, so then he was served the regular prison meal, which he declined to eat as well.
That's weird. It's like he went on a eating strike before.
I mean, I guess I could see that too. Being scared, nervous. Like, would I really want to eat if I knew that some shit was about to happen?
Fair. I mean, if I was facing that situation, I don't think I could eat either.
Yeah, because I'm sure you'd already have like the nerves and emotions and bubble guts and just
Definitely the bubble guts.
yeah. So
I understand.
he ate nothing.
I can get behind that. That's my frequent. Okay, so now we go to Anson Highway. There's a once popular topic in paranormal circles of the Anson light. It was captured, multiple people's imaginations, and when it was prevalent, described as a strange ghost light off of a highway in Anson, Texas. It made local news. It was frequently discussed online, things like that. But people didn't really understand why it was, continuously appearing. And some just brushed it off as strange and didn't really worry about it, yada yada. But according to like folklore, it had been around for years. And nobody's really been able to make sense of it. But after triangulating the area using iPhones, the local legend of the ghost mother looking for her missing children with a lantern quickly faded. My guess is that with so many people going out there to try to prove or disprove, it's kind of been disproved.
That or it's an old man with all these people coming around, and that's his way of saying, "Get off my lawn."
Could be, could be. I don't know, but I think there's tales like that similar in multiple states, because like we have one that's similar here in Wisconsin, but it's never been proved or disproved.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, I would love to go do that.
Yeah, I hear you. I think there's one just not far from me that they say like it's an abandoned house, but every once in a while the porch light goes on, even though there's no electricity. I don't know. I know what road it's on, but of course they don't give an actual address of where
Course.
it's at, so who knows. Okay, so my next one is the asshole known as John Wayne Gacy. He was 52 when he was put to death by lethal injection. See, words are hard. He was sentenced to death for the rape and 33 counts of murder. For his last meal, he requested 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of original recipe KFC, French fries, and a pound of strawberries. And fun fact about John Wayne Gacy, he managed KFC. I think like a district manager type thing, general manager, but yeah, he was in charge of several locations, which, if I'm not mistaken, was where he got some of his victims. but then also because he had like the construction thing on the side and the whole clown thing.
God loves clown thing.
No, I don't. I straight up don't. I don't. See, I feel stupid because mine are all like really short.
That's alright. It's still interesting. And by the way, I would totally get down with the 12 fried shrimp, but I would have like quadrupled that order.
Yeah, I like
Like,
shrimp,
I mean,
but
can we just do a line of the endless shrimp from Red Lobster to my table? You know, if that's the case, like if I'm on death row and I get my last meal, just straight line it from Red Lobster.
yeah, yeah. Um, I was gonna say something. Oh, yeah. I can, I can do shrimp, but I cannot do cocktail sauce. Ugh.
I'm down for the cocktail sauce. When I was a kid, I ate my French fries with cocktail sauce.
That explains so much. Nope, I don't like I don't like horseradish, so that's a. But I'll eat the hell out of some tartar sauce.
See, and I'm less a tartar sauce person.
See, yin and yang.
Oh, good lord. How'd that happen? I thought we were good with the foods. Now I'm starting to question. I don't know if we can be friends anymore. Well, let's move to North Carolina, shall we?
Sure.
To the Devil's Tramping Ground. Obviously, ominous name.
Hi, Henry.
Henry? Hi, Henry.
Yeah, Jason's writing in the chat.
Nice. Okay, so this location has a very ominous backstory, and I'm sorry I am going to kind of read directly from the site, because like I said, I didn't think we were going to make it through the majority of my list, but I'm okay with that. So it is an area that is most famous for reportedly haunted places in North Carolina. According to legend, the devil himself walks around at night, just as the eerie name suggests. While it may be like a random scary idea from folklore, there does seem to be some reasoning behind it. The Devil's Tramping Ground is an area approximately 40 feet across where apparently no plants will grow. Weird. Nino, nino, nino. And go figure, I lost my freaking spot. Damn. Okay. Animals don't like to go near this area. Objects move or disappear after they've been placed. So the real explanation for all but the poorly documented claim is simple. Salt.
That was my first thought.
And I think that's so cool. Most people don't know this. And it's a science thing. Miss, I don't like science.
I don't like science. I do know things. I don't like it, but I know things.
See?
I had
So
to
the ground
pass
is
that shit.
naturally the recedingly a salt lick, which is now only around 20 feet in diameter, which is causing the animals to avoid the spot since the naturally high salt content doesn't allow the grass to grow. So that's simple. There's no grass. The animals don't want to go there. And there's no grass because of the high salt.
That definitely makes sense. And
It's
I
kind
did
of
know
like
that
the
science fact. I did know that.
yay. It's kind of like the rocks that move across the desert. Have you seen those? I'll explain those to you sometime. They're interesting. If you see a video of them and like you can see the trails of the rocks literally moving across the desert, and it does take time. But it's all science. But in a cool way.
Yeah. See, I passed it in school, but my husband and son are huge to have science conversations.
Mm-hmm.
No. I just put
I'm
my
always
headphones
down
on and
for
call them
science
nerds.
conversations. Then I admit I am a nerd.
Not that science is bad. It's just not my thing. It's just not.
Understandable.
So our next death row inmate here is Ricky Ray Rector. That is a tongue twister.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised I got that out. He died in Arkansas by lethal injection at the age of 42. He was sentenced to death for 2 counts of murder. His last meal he requested and received a steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, and pecan pie. Ricky left the pie on the side of the tray, telling correction officers who came to take away his empty trays that he was saving it for later. And the guards did not dispose of that piece of pie until after his execution. And he looks like a bigger guy. So it kind of surprises me that he didn't, because the other guy that requested like the 2 pounds of fried bacon, he's a smaller dude.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if you look at like the hot dog eating contests and stuff like that, it's always the really tiny people that win.
Dude, Raina, I don't know how to say her last name, but her first name is Raina. Little Asian woman. She's freaking tiny.
Yes.
And she out eats dudes 3 times her size.
And that's crazy to me.
Yes. Insane. Okay. So, now, you might know this name. The Excelsior Hotel.
The which one?
Excelsior.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that one. Yeah.
So, Jefferson's Excelsior Hotel is something of a local tourist attraction. Many people visit the small establishment due to tales of terrifying haunting. The fact that Steven Spielberg himself resided in the hotel for one night. That's their
not
claim to
really
fame.
Resided then.
Exactly. And I think it's so funny. So many locations are like, yeah, we've hosted this person, we've hosted this person. Like, they were there for one night. Less than 12 hours.
Okay, well, they still hosted, but to use resided, that's...
Yeah, I think that's a commonly used phrase, is resided.
I mean, it's not how I would word it, but...
Right?
I'm not
I mean,
selling
it's
so
not
what do
like
I
they
know?
lived there for 2 months or, anything like that. That, I
Right.
would say, is residing.
Right. Yeah, big
Welcome to
difference.
words.
They're hard.
They are. Okay, so supposedly it scared him so much, to the extent that it inspired the film Poltergeist. The hotel, while imposing and perhaps a little eerie, with a lovely vintage style, seems to be just what is primarily known as a tourist attraction. Steven Spielberg tales are purely anecdotal, if not deliberately embellished. However, the hotel seems to enjoy the spotlight and additional revenue, encouraging tourists from other states to come and experience the alleged, largely based haunting themselves. I have seen pictures of the location, like currently. Their area, essentially, like their footprint, has like quadrupled. Like they have so many different outbuildings and things like that now, and they've added on to the hotel itself, but they have still primarily stuck with that main theme, and it's still a gorgeous location. It would still be phenomenal to go, and I think I'm going to keep it on my bucket list.
I need to make a bucket list, but whatever.
Well, that's on the paranormal bucket list. I mean, we got different bucket lists.
I was trying to figure out who's talking out there. It's Benny. Okay, so my next inmate is Robert Alton Harris. He was executed by gas chamber in 1992. for the 1978 murders of 2 teenage boys in San Diego. His execution was the first in the state since 1967, so it's quite a gap, like 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. So for his last meal, he requested a 21-piece bucket of KFC, 2 large Domino's pizzas, ice cream, a bag of jelly beans, a 6-pack of Pepsi, and a pack of Camel cigarettes. Now his his execution is specifically remembered for his choice of final words. You can be a king or a street sweeper, but everybody dances with the Grim Reaper. And it was actually a line from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yep, I remember that.
So
Okay.
plagiarized just prior to death.
That's awesome. I mean, hey, if you're gonna go out, at least say some awesome words first.
And I'm sorry, but KFC as a last meal, and definitely Domino's. Domino's does not sit well with me.
And KFC seems to be a popular one.
Yeah, but of course, this was years ago when it was still fairly decent. So
Yeah, true. Now it's insanely priced. Shall we move across the world and go to Germany?
sure.
Let's visit Frankenstein's castle. There is so many tales around this place. Obviously, books, movies, a whole fucking genre. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's staying on my bucket list. I don't care. Yeah, I want to go. So, it's a creepy, rundown castle, which is the birthplace of Jonathan Conrad Dippel. He is an alleged alchemist and potion maker who ran immoral experiments, according to local lore. As the name and story may suggest, many people believe that the castle and its creepy alchemist went on to inspire Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein, about a similarly mad scientist experimenting on the dead just like Dippel supposedly did. While the story is compelling and accounts of Dippel are shaky at best, and while the castle only really became a popular spot for paranormal enthusiasts after the novel, it kind of leaves room for, debate as to whether or not it's true. But either way, it's a fucking castle, and it's got a creepy story behind it. I want to frickin' go.
Well, most castles in Europe have creepy story. Well, I don't know. They're all creepy looking.
True. Most have creepy stories behind them. And I want to figure out which ones are real. What just happened?
Did your computer just say, fuck you?
It did! It says, oh snap! Are we sure we're not in retrograde?
Nope. So much for, I'm a Gemini.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, the electronic shit, it's been all freaking year. All year. It's like, I'm ready to be done with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. Give me my electronics back. I like them.
Well, do you want me to just keep my list going till you get it back?
I get it.
Okay.
It's just retarded sometimes. It's special.
Okay. So at the age of 40, Ronnie Threadgill was put to death in Texas by lethal injection, and he was sentenced for murder. His last meal, he requested baked chicken, mashed potatoes with country gravy, vegetables, sweet peas, bread, tea, which I'm going to guess sweet tea, water, and punch. However, and you'll see why in the bonus, Texas abolished last meal choice in 2011, so he requested it, but didn't get it. So he was just given the same meal as everyone else in the unit.
I'm kind of saddened by that.
I mean, they fed him.
Yeah. But I mean, damn it, give him the last meal.
They did. They gave him the last meal, but
But I mean his.
you're gonna understand in my bonus.
Okay, fine. Let's move on to creepy dolls.
Ooh, the Island of Creepy Dolls.
No, Annabelle. So, Annabelle the doll also became a Hollywood star in recent years after the spotlight of the Conjuring universe, getting to know her films a lot of the media attention. The doll in the film is based on a very real doll, currently in possession of the previously mentioned Warren family. The tale in the movie is almost entirely inaccurate. Yeah, so I love it when people are like, "Oh yeah, this, it." No. And in fact, I did have a coworker stop me one night, and he was pulling up stuff on his computer, and he's like, "Oh yeah, what about this and this and this?" And it was all in relation to Annabelle and other haunted dolls. And I was like, "No." I was like, "You can't base anything off of Annabelle." I was like, "It's entirely inaccurate." And he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Holy shit." He's like, "How do you know?" And I was like, "Because it's my life to know."
Right. That's what I do.
Right? So I do kind of love the fact that I am the go-to person at work for anything weird, creepy, haunted, and whatnot. So it's a lot of fun. So yeah, obviously inaccurate, but what's more damning is that the Warrens' account aren't a series of verifiable truths either.
Mm.
The original family did not speak of a horrible haunting, simply scary but not entirely intense, which led them to call paranormally. Let me rewind that a second. Okay. They did not speak of a horrible haunting, simply scary but not extremely intense. Experiments that led them to call paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. However, they turned the story from a simple haunting into a terrifying and violent demon interaction. And it was kind of their pattern. They turned kind of every case into this big demon thing. And unfortunately, as time has passed, there have been people who have investigated their cases, in themselves, entirely separate and, followed the actual evidence and, re-talked to families and things like that and have found that a lot were highly embellished, basically. Not to say that there wasn't something there initially. So, potentially something, and then completely blown out of proportion. So, and it's an unfortunate, I think, common occurrence in relation to hauntings. And I think that's why a lot of people who experience hauntings don't necessarily come out and say so because they're afraid of the stigma behind everything.
Right. All right. We are going to dip on over to Utah. Um, Ronnie Lee Gardner received the death penalty for murder in 1985 and was executed by firing squad in 2010. He was famously quoted as saying, "I'd prefer to die of old age, Your Honor, but if that isn't possible, I'll take the firing squad." So his last meal, he requested a steak, a lobster tail, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and to eat it all while watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
I 100% fucking approve that. I love it.
Never seen it. Never seen it. I know. I know. I hear this a lot.
Ma'am, you are just breaking my heart all over today. Good
I'm
Lord.
so sorry.
One of these days, I'm gonna come over there and I am gonna tie you down and I'm gonna make you watch all the movies that you have been missing. You're gonna see Hocus Pocus.
I've heard that. Okay, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad then. Thank you, Jason.
Jason! How
Jason
dare
has never
you?
seen it either, so I'm in good company, so it's fine.
Rachel, help me.
I haven't
Back me
I
up.
haven't I haven't seen Harry
Rachel,
Potter movies
please.
either.
Now we're gonna
I've
have to fight.
I have not seen a Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings.
Oh my god. What is wrong with you?
Nothing.
I think everything. Oh, good Lord. The both of you.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay, what's your next location?
Okay, this is the one you asked me about whether or not it was on my list. And the number one location, the Amityville house. Oh, I missed that. Rachel says,
I can't deal with her. I hear that so much. I hear that so much. She can't deal with me.
that's funny. I love
But
it.
it's a lie. It's a lie.
She can and she does, and we love her for it.
Yes.
Okay, so Amityville House. It was a book written by Jay Anson, an American horror author, and the novel aimed to describe the supernatural experience of the Lutz family, but has become incredibly controversial for its widely perceived untruthfulness. Oh, I saw something about Lord of the Rings. Okay, Lord of the Rings isn't my number one, but I love Harry Potter. Okay, but see, at least you've seen it to be able to make a decision on it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. At least you've seen it. You're good. I love you. I don't know about you anymore. Or
That's
you back
okay.
there. So, it was once considered America's most famous haunted house. The Lutz family only stayed there for 4 weeks, describing horrible paranormal events, violent ghosts, perhaps a demon. The tale was frequently connected to the case of Ronald Defoe Jr., who murdered his family, which occurred in the house. While a horrifying event had certainly occurred, the paranormal accounts have been described by many who knew or were even part of the Lutz family, for one thing, a hoax. George Lutz is frequently described as a showman by those who don't believe his account of the true story due to his monetizing of the events and book and movie deals. And, essentially seeking fame off somebody else's story. Christopher I want to say Tarantino but it's not Tarantino, but it's similar. Quarantino.
Okay.
I don't know about that name. Anyway, he lived in the house as a child and claims that his stepfather, George, deliberately amplified the paranormal events for his own gain and feels that their experiments were exploited by him. So, and that's unfortunate for a child to have gone through that and to be able to watch his dad basically making it all up and blowing it up
Yeah.
and kind of wreaking havoc in his life.
Yeah, and probably because they couldn't afford the house. But like my big thing is like the exploiting the tragedy of the DeFeo family for your own selfish gain. And I do have proof that it's a lie. So, because I have texts.
Oh, she got receipts.
Yep. Yep, I
That's
have
just funny.
receipts. So there's that. Okay,
Okay, fair enough.
so the number one on this list is Chris Hagen, sorry, words. Kenneth Misner, Officer Roseland, Richard Burton, and Rolf Miller. Do you know what those names have in common?
No.
They're all aliases used at some point by Ted Bundy,
Oh, okay.
who was sentenced to death for rape, necrophilia, prison escape more than once, and more than 35 counts of murder. He declined a special meal, so he was given the traditional last meal of steak, cooked medium rare, eggs over easy, hash browns, toast with butter and jelly, milk, and juice.
That's still a pretty damn good last meal.
Yeah. Yes. So, do you want, because you're all done with your list, right? Okay. So this is the little bonus and the reason why the other guy couldn't get his requested meal. Lawrence, and this is from Jacksonville.com, the Florida Times Union. But this is from Houston, Texas. They stopped the practice of letting condemned inmates choose their last meal after a state senator complained about the expansive request from a man that was executed for his role in a notorious dragging death. Lawrence Russell Brewer. It was a hate crime of James Byrd Jr. Asked for two chicken fried steaks, a triple meat bacon cheeseburger, fried okra. Jesus, words are hard. A pound of barbecue, 3 fajitas, a meat lover's pizza, a pint of ice cream, and a slab of peanut butter fudge with crushed peanuts. And then refused to eat any of it. That's an expensive ass meal.
It is.
And he refused. So they said, nope, no more. That's a huge ass waste of money.
It is. And way to go for ruining it for everybody.
Mm-hmm. So yep, that was the bonus. The fact that he ordered all of that, requested all of that, and then said,
I mean, just kind of proves he was where he belonged.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, that was a dick move. I mean, a triple meat
For
bacon
sure.
cheeseburger.
Right.
I'd take it.
Right? At least a bite.
The slab of peanut butter fudge. Hell yeah. Right, at least take a bite of everything.
Right. One
And a
bite
piece of
and then be
bite.
like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm full. You know, like a child does.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still a fuck you.
Yeah, it is.
And you still got to eat all the food.
Yep. So yeah, that's the list I have. So
See, I thought those were fun.
different.
But yet, still totally what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, this was fun. And yeah, I'll have to show proof of Rachel being able to deal with me.
If it's appropriate, we might have to put it on the Creepy Soup page.
It should, well, maybe what happened before isn't, but
And this is why I said if it's appropriate,
and
because I know
it,
you two.
and knowing me, it's probably not. Yeah, probably not.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. Maybe. Oh, I'm so sick of you. Oh, nope, it's not appropriate.
I called it.
In case you forgot, Rachel, it's about what I yelled in someone's phone
Oh,
before I was
jeez.
given an apology. Because okay, you know how phones they hear your conversations and then things I feel attacked and things come up. Well, I had yelled something into someone's phone for something they did before they
Hmm.
apologized, and she said, "I'm so sick of you." I said, "Lies." She said, "Okay, that's true. Proof."
Fair. She got you.
That she did. Huh. So yeah, that's all I got. Do we have anything major coming up? I don't think so.
My only major thing is moving departments, and I'm not sure when that's going to be.
I do. The only thing I really have is with tomorrow being Memorial Day, we always go to like my family and Roy's family, the cemeteries and clean up the graves and everything. And then after that, because last week I got a phone call that really kind of shocked me a little bit from my cousin. My mom had too many sisters, but one of them passed away last year, and I had only spoke to her once since my mom passed away. And her son called me last Sunday and said, "Yeah, we're cleaning out mom's stuff, and she had a cedar chest, and everything in it has your name on it." Yeah, I was pretty shocked. So I come from a family of crocheters. Um, I I can do the line, so like I could do a noodle or a scarf for a worm. That's about all I can do. Um, and that's because one of my mom's sisters taught me that. Um, but it's all like different Afghans and stuff that like my great grandmother, some aunts, and some other people crocheted and stuff like that. So
Wow,
I'm excited
that's really cool.
because the stuff I did have, I lost all of that in the
Hmm.
fire, so I had nothing from like relatives. So
And there was a secret stash waiting for you.
yeah, never knew.
And not only that, but it comes at a time when you're in the process of purchasing or trying to purchase your home.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah,
I
it,
love that for you.
thanks. I'm gonna have to tell Bentley you said that. That's one of those phrases he doesn't like.
What? Did I love that for you?
Yeah, because I said that to him once, just being a smartass. He's like, "I hate that, Nana. Don't say that."
But I'm looking at it in a different way. And
Yeah,
I mean it in a good way.
it is. Rachel says it. I say it, and I say it to Bentley a lot just to piss him off. It's my job.
Fair.
So yeah, I think that's it.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah, I got nothing else going on. Just kind of in a holding pattern for the next week or two, and away I go again.
Yeah. For me, it's back to work Tuesday and living the dream.
Well, I would like to thank those who joined us in watching the live. We appreciate you for being here. And thank you, Rachel, for chatting with us during the live. It was a lot of fun. And thank you, Jason, for being producer for us and doing all the fun things in the background and actually typing up the comments for us so that we can see them.
Yes, because we're not able to watch the other places that it's streaming. So, yes, I do appreciate it. And glad me and Jason are team No Lord of the Rings / Harry Potter. Like I said, I'm in good company, so I don't feel bad.
Nope, Rachel and I are going to get you. We're going to tie you down and we're going to make you watch the shows. We might even get Roy in on it.
Okay, hang on. You are not going to issue a challenge like that and expect me not to at least fire in on this. Okay? You don't want to come at me and Jill because we are an unbreakable team here. So I mean, if you want to lock up, you and Rachel want to challenge me and Jill. We'll make this happen. Like, I'm a promoter at heart. God damn it, I will make this happen. You know what I'm saying?
Rachel, you down?
Of course she's down. No, I'll go ahead and answer for her. No fucks are given here at the PFC Network. Listen. In all seriousness, I was waiting for you guys to kind of wind this down. Then I wanted to say my parting words here. Great way to debut on the episode. I was very fascinated by what you guys were talking about. I Googled some of this shit as you guys were talking about. I was like, I need to find more out about this. I had expectations of this, and you know, a lot of times I'm accused of my expectations not being very realistic. And I understand that to some degree, but I also set the bar high too. You guys met that bar and you exceeded it in my view.
Oh, thank you.
We are off and running here, and I'm looking at the numbers preliminarily as they were coming in, and I expect as we move along here, you know, the trend is upward and onward, and I'm here for it, and I have the best seat in the house, that's for sure. And I love that for you guys.
Thank you.
One more cheap plug. If you are digging what the girls are doing here, you can support them by going over to our online store. There is some merchandise up there right now with the Creepy Soup logos and things of this nature. There's, I don't know, 6 or 7 items. By the time this show is released on the RSS feed, I anticipate that their merchandise will be tripled, because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you and I'm like, ooh, that's a catchphrase, that's a t-shirt, that's a design, that's a logo. So that's what I'm going to work on this afternoon. So check out pfcstore.printify.me. That is the official online store for our network, or you can go over to pfcnetwork.net, the official website of our network, and all of the great content that we have there. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate everything. And I do know with being with the network, we are in great company. So
yes. I think we're also in great hands.
Very happy to be a part of it.
Yes.
The pleasure is all on this side of the camera. I don't mind telling you. So, you know, anybody who's worked for me in any realm, whether it was in the wrestling business or here, you guys aren't co-hosts. You're not this. You are family. And that's how I approach it. And you will see that, and you have seen that, just as we've got this project off the ground and running. And as we move along here, you know, I want everybody, we come from all walks of life. We all have different experiences and views and things of this nature. That's family. And,
Yes.
I take that very seriously. That is one thing I do not compromise at all. So it's a lot of good is happening right now, and you guys are very much a part of that. So we're very, very happy to have you on board, and I'm looking forward to next week and beyond. So love that for
Thank
you
you. We're
guys.
happy to be here.
So is there anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and put a bow on this. We appreciate everybody tuning in here, whether it was on Riverside, Facebook, or YouTube, to be a part of this 100th episode of Creepy Soup. With that, go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other, and we'll see you next time right here on Creepy Soup on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Bye.